The next big Pokemon release is right around the corner, with Pokemon Legends ZA set to hit store shelves on October 16th. We recently got a brand new trailer detailing aspects of the game's gameplay and story, amongst other things, and unfortunately, all that trailer did was make me more apprehensive than ever about this title's impending release. More than anything though, it just made me feel apathetic and empty inside about this game. And in this video, I want to explain why. It's been a while since I've complained about Pokemon on my channel, so I'm long overdue for a rant. Pull up a chair and get comfortable, because it's time to talk about Pokemon Legends ZA. Alright, so right off the top, I'll admit that I've always had my fair share of skepticism towards Legends ZA. I consider myself more than a little bit burned by Scarlet and Violet, and the concept of setting an entire game in Lumiose City seemed a bit odd to me from the start. But I did enjoy Legends Arceus quite a bit, and even if I was severely let down by Scarlet and Violet like so many others, I'm a sicko, and simply the announcement of a new Pokemon game is always enough to at least get me a little excited. But after watching this latest trailer, man, that excitement is all but gone. And honestly, I think that's the single biggest issue with the trailer itself. This latest overview trailer that you're watching on the screen here not only lacked excitement, it was also devoid of any oomph or enthusiasm whatsoever. You almost get the sense from watching it that this game was made as an obligation rather than a passion project. Like Game Freak had to fulfill the quota of making another spin-off game, so they just threw this one together at the very last minute. There's very little in this trailer that we haven't seen before. The graphical style is almost identical to Scarlet and Violet, the characters have the same stiff animations, and dialogue is delivered awkwardly with no voice acting, as usual. There's a big emphasis on character customization and clothing, but even that has basically the identical menu and UI that the feature did in Scarlet and Violet. It also mentions being able to hang out and do other things with your Pokemon, but all it shows is the character sitting and then taking photos with the Pokemon. Once again, another feature straight out of Scarlet and Violet. I understand that Legends ZA is a spin-off game, so we shouldn't be hoping for big, sweeping changes like we might want in the next mainline game, but still, ideally your game should feel like it brings value of its own to the table. It shouldn't scream spin-off game, even if it is in fact a spin-off game. I mean hell, let's just look at its predecessor, Legends Arceus. That was a spin-off title as well, but it had its own graphical style and flair and vibe. You were exploring sweeping hills and giant areas in ancient times, something we had never seen from the series before. Now, I'm not trying to rewrite history here. I remember the early trailers for Arceus were extremely rough in their own right, but technical issues aside, from the very beginning you could at least tell that Game Freak was trying something drastically different and actually swinging for the fences with that one. These early Legends ZA showings make me feel like Game Freak just chose the easiest concept possible for the game, so they could continue to put most of their focus into Generation 10. Can we set it all in one city? That would probably allow us to cut the development team in half. Do you think we could get away with that? When I was watching the latest trailer, one of my favorite comments was someone saying that even the commentator sounds like she's given up. And it's so true. Even the person narrating the trailer sounds like she's bored and just reading off a script and going through the motions. Like, that's the best take they had? But whatever, I guess Game Freak doesn't care about voice acting in any capacity. To give credit where credit is due though, the one part of the game where it does look like the team is shooting for innovation is with its real-time battle system. For the first time ever, it appears we have a battle system that has the player actively running around the field and selecting commands for their Pokemon on the fly. Players have been clamoring for this sort of thing for what seems like forever, so I am eager to see how this shapes out. However, call me a pessimist if you must, but again, my hopes here are not high. While it's certainly a cool idea, it's also a huge deviation from what we typically see in Pokemon games, and I just do not have the confidence in Game Freak to be able to make this a fun and engaging system with their first attempt. Maybe a couple games down the line this becomes the system that we've been waiting for, but in Legends ZA, I have a hard time believing this is going to be anything other than a shallow proof of concept. It reminds me of when Sword and Shield introduced the Wild area. When we saw those early trailers, we thought we were finally getting the open world Pokemon game that we'd always dreamt of. only for the actual concept to be more scaled down and shallow than even the most skeptical of fans were expecting. I hope I'm wrong, I really do, but I can't help but think we're heading towards a repeat of that with the battle system here. And the last thing I just need to harp on, Mega Dragonite. Bro, look what they did to my boy. Bringing back Mega Evolution is one of the best things Legends ZA has going for it, so introducing a brand new Mega Evolution in this latest trailer was a great idea. If only they didn't, completely massacre the design. Dragonite has always been a favorite of mine, so maybe I'm taking this one too personally, but how the hell could the team think this is a good design? Dragonite has always been maybe a bit too doofy looking when compared to its earlier evolutions, so I think bringing back some of the elegance and grace that Dragonair has for the Mega Evolution is actually a pretty solid idea. A shiny pearl and more elegant looking wings, sure, I'm all for it. But why the hell are the wings on its head? If they just put the wings on Dragonite's back and maybe added a longer horn to the head, I think we'd be in business here. But instead, they went with something that looks straight out of a 5-year-old sketchpad and put the wings on the head. What the hell, man? Hopefully the other new Mega Evolutions in the game are better looking than this monstrosity. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Pokemon Legends ZA. I try not to make super negative videos a lot since it's much more enjoyable to talk about games that make me happy rather than bum me out, but I just had to get this one off my chest. My excitement for this game is at an all-time low, but I'm still gonna play it, and I really, really hope it surprises me. I understand that at the end of the day, Pokemon is a franchise for kids, and maybe I need to lower my expectations in some areas, but I also believe that the "it's for kids" excuse only gets you so far. This is still the biggest franchise in the world, and us fans, kids and adults alike, deserve better games than we've been getting in recent years. Here's hoping that Legends ZA is the game that bucks that trend. Thanks for watching.